Today I'm talking about the topic, the matrix. It's an inside-out world. When you zoom in, I think it zooms out. I wrote this about 5 years ago. Like an inside-out donut with reality as a grid imprinted. Maybe the angle of out on the diagram is different. Whichever is reference is the heaviest because the rest will have to be labeled first. I mean, the reality wraps around something and is growing on the back of contraction and condensation. We are light beings on around the sun, same as around the atom. There's twisting and rotations, natural movement. The inside has contrast to the outside, the edge. Can it be the corona? That's what we call corona, right? We are moving at the edges, and there's a remember it all started with a bat. So I guess I didn't write this 5 years ago. I guess I wrote it about 3 years ago. Can it be so it's like a bat ritual, very strange, but we don't need to know. We're trying, but we can witness. We can be here now, not giving energy. And I want to show the diagram. It's like coming outward and then going back in, but there's empty space in the middle and then the edges. So a reference is like where the edge starts, wherever the edge is. And that's why I mentioned it has to be labeled first. It has to be named, kind of. So we can radiate toward the light and emit a powerful glow when it comes in and out. We are light beings. It feels bad to go away from the light and good to go toward light. We need to rotate and twist and sunbathe into light acclimation if prolonged darkness or numbness. So group enlightening connects us strongly and it nullifies separateness. Separateness for Corona now is most important because light beings amplify when vicinitas, I think I made up that word, it means sharing a vicinity. The aura, they say, is about 3 feet, but actually the brain could be 6 feet. So we're very protected. Those who irresponsibly procreated with needs are kind of paying it's kind of sad, right? So light is the net weight of effect of thought, speech, and action. We have to bring out more light, balance light, whatever the light work is necessary to do. It doesn't mean limited only to increasing light. That isn't the only necessary thing. It isn't created or destroyed. The inside out donut shape inverted is like, if you have learned any physics, it's like the electron circling. So the magnitude of the inside's light gives rise to physical expression that is to be sourced by light, manifest to the degree of the power. 1 million years of low energy versus a tenth of a second of such potent, unstable energy is how we can understand chaos of going further from the light. So it's very quick and large, and then bulges out, and that it goes much further, booms out, right? Flies out, shoots out. Being firmly bound allows for light work, though. Walking in the shadow of death is what we call it in a religious way. So life is the most precious gift we ever have. We don't live for what we think is afterlife because that is the only sin, to not be present, basking in what we call presence, right? The divine presence is God. So while we're other enough in a body to perceive and to be perceived by the holiest, this is to be, in the Jewish way, we would say, kind of having God in the forefront of your mind, or in any religion really, versus it's kind of we're splitting in two, masculine and feminine, to unify. So stars are fallen suspended angels, this idea that the Jews are like the stars. So I can speak from these things, but really it could be applied to any religion or any area that feels relevant. Say somebody who passed away, right? Whatever it is. Abundance is willing to reach out and ask and receive. Trust is to look in the eye, be authentic and present. The belief that we have to have is that we're doing a good job. And illusion is the first of all the pleasures. That's what entertainment, relationships that are exciting, and everything else is based off. So now, to be kind of like a Torah of light, truth. It is beloved to the light, to give the best to the light, to help people stay in the light. Because I talked a lot about the light of the matrix, right? So to help people stay in the light, to praise the light, to thank the light, to fully accept the light, to welcome the light, to keep space for the light, to bask in the glory of the light, to choose the light if given a choice, and to treasure the light over all others. I'm going to read it again because the commitment would mean marriage, and then no human could compete in that way. Containers that are organic and natural change always and unpredictably. There would be non-attachment, And the light is not the appearance. Earth receives the light and can share, but doesn't generate. It's not the source. Light can take on any form and shape, but forms and shapes as parts of the physical universe doesn't end. And the light doesn't want or require suffering. And there's a quote from Leonard Cohen, before I read the truth again, of what is beloved to the light. It's, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So, truth of beloved to the light is to give the best to the light, to help people stay in the light, to praise the light, to thank the light, to fully accept the light, to welcome the light, to keep space for the light, to bask in the glory of the light, to choose the light if given a choice, and to treasure the light over all others. And when I wrote it, I noticed it was like 10, and it reminded me of like the power of 10 in many areas. Like 10 Sfirot, 10 Commandments, 10 plagues in Egypt. So for me, it was divinely inspired when I wrote it. And yet, it's not necessary for anyone to memorize it. It's just basically being light. These all come naturally. It's the truth of light. And I remember once having like a download, like a question was asked of me to my soul: do you know how bright you are? And whether we feel bright or dark is not how bright we are. If we feel very bright, we might be dim at the moment, but if we feel very dim, we might actually be bright at the moment. So I noticed that there were some people in my life very challenging, and they were like teaching me by absorbing the situation. Some of them, like my mother, some women named Penina, Basia, Carol, some men named Naphtali, Binyamin, Shia, Daniel, Dinesha. Some of them maybe were both. Then there's like luminosities. It's like, for example, the Lubavitch Rebbe, and then some women named Esther Perel, Esther Hicks, Sarah, Rona Schweitz, Kelly Cam, Kamaria, Sam, and did I say Nemza? And then John Bradshaw and Muji. And what is a mystic? Like, what they were all teaching me, to be luminous or absorbent of the light, either to be lighting or absorbing the light. Like, for example, there are teachers that are most difficult for us, we're absorbing light. They come across as the bad guy, right? And then the luminous ones are the ones that we gravitate toward for the brightness, for the sunbathing of their light. And that means that each one who's doing this with the light is a mystic, because we awaken for the benefit of all beings. We all need intimacy. In other words, the light that shows into me, I see. And things that are heavy, attachments, like addicts, we get, anyone is an addict, and it's getting stuck in survival mode, versus the higher power, which is like the source of light, lets us have someone watching our back long enough to heal. This is recovery, this is connection, community. And so I remember thinking, like, some of the attachments, I wrote a few down, like Adam, Binyamin, my mother, my sister, having familiar roommates, speaking in a meeting, not belonging. There was these letter boys, they were like artists, their approval, not liking physics, and feeling things are my parents' fault. Like, these were all things that were weighing on me. They were blocking my light because I couldn't shine or absorb in that area where that was there. It's like a blockage. So anyway, wish you well. Have a blessed evening. Bye.